What is a diary? Well, a diary is a way of keeping track of your memories, but it has other benefits as well. Diaries are good for your creativity and mental health, and they can even help you become a better writer. To make diary writing a part of your daily life, focus on getting in the habit of writing and being creative. Are you busy? In a hurry? If you've tried keeping a diary every day and you just can't keep it up, try creating a schedule so you're writing in your diary at the same time every day. This will create a habit and it'll be easier to complete your diary in the way that you want. Also, create a theme for your diary, like a gratitude diary or a dream diary. And don't be afraid to doodle or write creative pieces in your diary if the mood strikes you. For tips on how to maintain your diary when you don't feel like writing or don't have any time to write, read on. Always keep your diary around. Keep it handy. One of the hardest parts of daily diary writing is simply getting in the habit of writing every day. An easy trick for getting in the habit is keeping your diary somewhere easy to access and visible. Many people like to keep their diaries with them whenever they go in a pocket, purse, or backpack. This way, you can write in your diary anytime you have an idea or something to write about. Others prefer to keep their diary in an accessible spot in their home, such as next to the bed. Keeping your diary somewhere you can see it can help you remember to write it every day. So if you keep it in your line of sight, you always think about it more, and you'll be more likely to use it and write it. Schedule a continuous time to write your diary. Again, this comes back to habit forming so that you don't forget about writing your diary on a daily basis. Many people find it helpful to choose a specific time to write each day. Common choices include right before bed or first thing in the morning. Either option gives you an opportunity to reflect on the previous day. I recommend using the nighttime to write your diary before bed. That way you can reflect back on the day that you've had and include that in your diary. Having a scheduled writing time helps you develop a routine of writing daily. This makes it harder to forget and gets your brain in the habit of writing at a particular time. Eventually, you should find that words start to flow more easily at a writing time. Of course, you can write in your diary anytime you want. Having a scheduled writing time doesn't mean you can't write at some other time if inspiration strikes you. You should also feel free to write more than once a day if you are moved to do so. When writing your diary, don't worry about the opinions of others. Diary writing is for you and not for anyone else. When you write in your diary, don't worry too much about the rules of spelling and grammar or how other people might judge what you write, because this is for your eyes only. Getting bogged down in the rules can distract you or slow you down. This can hinder your creativity. Personal writing, just for yourself, can help you get to know yourself better, decrease stress, help you resolve disputes with others, and process difficult emotions. This can have a positive impact on both your mental and physical health. If there's something in your diary you decide you want to share with others, you can always edit it later if you are concerned about spelling and grammar. When writing your diary, templates can be very helpful, especially if you're just beginning. Create a template for entries. Some days writing will flow easily and naturally. Other days, though, it'll be very difficult and it'll get hard. So, on these days, these difficult writing days, having some pre-established questions you can write answers to, a sort of writing template, can help you get started. Here are a few suggestions. The template has, what did I do yesterday? What did I do today? What lessons did I learn? How am I feeling right now? What am I thankful for? What did I read yesterday? What did I read today? What are my plans for today and tomorrow? What is the most important thing I must accomplish today? What is the most important thing I should accomplish this week? How about this month? And why? These are all things you can think about when writing your diary. If you miss a day, don't give up. If you miss one day of writing your diary, it's not the end of the world. If you are, for whatever reason, not able to write in your diary one day, don't get discouraged. Your diary is for you, and there's no rule that says you absolutely have to write each day. Maybe some days you won't have anything to write about. That said, try not to ever miss more than 2 days in a row. Doing so runs the risk of getting out of the habit, so try not to miss more than one day. If you're writing short entries or brief entries, use bullet points in your diary. Some days you might not have much time to write, or you just may not feel like writing much at all, or have much to write about in the first place. In such cases, it's okay to do a short entry using just some bullet points about events or thoughts you had that day. For example, your entry might read, bullet point, met Sarah for lunch at Casa d'Italia. Bullet point 2, worried about new work project. Will funding come through? Bullet point 3, started reading Crime and Punishment. Interesting so far, but a little hard to follow. Sometimes these bullet points might provide content for a longer entry you write at some later time. Even if not, it's better to just jot down a few notes than to skip a whole day. Consider a specific purpose. Consider giving your diary a specific purpose for what you want to write about. During some times in your life, you may not feel like there's much anything of interest going on. This can make it harder to write something interesting every day. One possibility for getting around this is to devote your diary to a specific purpose and write about that every day. For example, you can try a project diary in which you chronicle your progress on some ongoing project, either personal or professional. A gratitude diary. This is a diary in which you write every day about something you're grateful for. A nature diary, in which you write about plants, animals, weather, or other natural things you see each day. You can also do a dream diary, in which you write about your dreams each morning when you wake up. It's best to have the diary next to your bed. When you wake up in the morning, quickly jot down your dreams, everything that you can remember, because it will leave your memory very quickly. If you can't remember your dreams, you can just note that you can't recall them. When writing your diary, be detailed. Keep the specifics in the diary. Getting in the habit of writing about events in detail will make for more interesting entries. It will also make your diary more useful for remembering things later. Even something very interesting can seem bland when described without much detail. For example, you could write, I saw my favorite band play at a concert tonight. That's not particularly compelling. On the other hand, describing the wild applause of the crowd, the guitar player's amazing solo, and the moment when the singer bent down and kissed someone in the front row on the cheek makes this memory come alive. That will make it more interesting to write and to read later on. So always try to include as many specifics as you can. It really makes the writing pop. Don't just write about events. Include your thoughts and feelings. Events are good, but it's also to have thoughts and feelings to give them some perspective. By the same token, your writing will be more interesting if you describe your personal reflections about events that happen to you, not just the events themselves or just your emotional responses. Following the previous example, you could describe the anticipation you felt in the moments before your favorite band walked onto the stage. How the sound of the bass made your whole body feel like it's shaking. How excited and happy you were when they played your favorite song, and so on. This can also help you use your diary to process your feelings during difficult times. When writing in your diary, it's important to always be honest. Remember, this writing is just for you. Filling your diary with your honest reflections will make the experience more beneficial. It will also probably make it more interesting. Suppressing your feelings in your journal entries will make the experience of writing less satisfying. Since you are writing for yourself alone, you should feel free to explore your thoughts and feelings in a deep and substantial way, without fear of judgment. So always be honest with yourself when writing the diary and include an honest portrayal of what you're feeling, thinking, and what happened to you. You'll get the most out of your diary this way. When writing in your diary, feel free to be creative. You can use your diary for creative writing if you like. Most people think of a diary as a personal story, and indeed a lot of diary writing is just that. Don't be afraid. However, to use your diary to write more creatively, especially if you don't feel like you have much to say about your own life. Some people use their diaries to write short stories or other works of fiction. You can jot down poems you read or song lyrics that inspire you, or better yet, use this as a venue to try writing your own poems or songs. This material can become a first draft for something you develop more fully later on, or it can just be a piece of personal writing that stays in your diary. When writing your diary, it's great to add visuals. Another way to keep your diary interesting is to use visuals. This can be anything from a developed scrapbook spread to some simple drawings or doodles you add in the margins. You can use your diary as a means of hanging onto small mementos from the events you describe. For example, after going to see your favorite band, you could tape the ticket stub on the page you've used to write about the concert. Choose inspiring materials when writing your diary. Find a diary that's appealing to you. Some people feel that what you use to keep your diary isn't important. For some, this may be true. For many people, however, having a diary that feels right makes it easier to write. So when looking for a diary, look for one that's appealing to you, one that you want to write in. Go shopping for diaries at a store so you can pick up and examine different choices, holding them in your hand to get the feel for each. Choose something that is appealing to you but not so pretty you'll be afraid to write it in it or get it messy. Writing in a diary isn't all about being neat and orderly. It's about expressing yourself. The best diaries are often messy and jumbled. Consider the size of your diary. Many people like to carry their diaries with them. If you anticipate this, a smaller choice might be right for you. On the other hand, if you plan on doing artistic scrapbook-style layouts, you'll probably need something a little bigger. So keep in mind what kind of diary you're going to be writing, what you will include in it, and try to match that to the diary you'll purchase. When writing, feel free to experiment with different pens. Similarly, some people find it easier to write with some particular type of pen. If a cheap disposable feels fine to you, don't worry about it. But if you prefer a nicer pen, pay a little extra for something you feel good writing with. Again, visit a store, such as an art supply shop, and try out different pens. See what feels best for you. The idea here is to make you want to write, so you can keep up the habit daily. So choose a pen and a diary that you want to use and that you enjoy.